I say, dango, 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 aye. Dango, 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 aye. Dango, 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 aye. I say dango, aye. So that's all they run in my life.
Hi people, welcome to my YouTube channel, Blck-Lez. If you're new here, welcome. If you've always been here, thank you for always being here. So today I'm going to share out a number of lessons that I have picked. Okay, let me position myself well. A number of lessons that I have picked, or a number of things that I've picked from the interview of Dineo, Ranaka and her baby daddy Blck-Lez. That was one of the most informative interview that I've ever came across that had to do with black parents who are co-parenting, because looking at how what is happening in our society, how black parents do stuff, especially with their co-parenting, you would see what only if a lot of them had adopted this style of co-parenting, this would turn out better for the kid and for their kids or kid, and even for them as the parents, you know. And Dineo is one of the people that I love so much because of her confidence, because of her level of self-awareness. And you know, her level of self-awareness enables her to teach people who she is and how she does things and what she expects, which is a beautiful thing. And I love the fact that Blck-Lez, his level of self-awareness is just on another, his self-awareness is just on another level. And he mentioned one of the most important things, being open to self-correction. That is one of the most beautiful things that I've ever came across, especially for someone who so okay, I did something wrong and I need to work on it. And you know what, she was wrong at some point. According to their interview, she was wrong at some point, and she acknowledged the fact that she was wrong. And it took two people who have a mission of making it work out, because the main mission behind this whole conversation was for them to be better parents who are going to be able to raise their kid in the most safest, healthiest and effective manner. So getting on the points that I've learned a number of them, like I was saying. So the first one, I have my journal here because I was jotting down while I was watching the interview. The first one is healing and forgiveness. Their interview have shown us that it has shown me that it takes healing and forgiveness for two people by the way they have wronged each other to come to agreement, to come to table and discuss things out. Okay, the sun is out and my lighting is getting affected. Okay, I don't know. Okay, let me do this. Oh God. Okay, that's fine. All right, it takes healing for two people to come, healing and forgiveness for two people who have wronged each other to come to agreement that okay, now we have to talk this thing out and see the way and map the way forward. Because if we are to take a journey and you have a destination to reach, how are we going to get there while we're still angry at each other, while we haven't addressed issues of the past that are still hurting? And you know, there's one thing that I love about forgiveness. I don't believe in the narrative, forgive and forget. Your brain is there to serve a purpose. It captures all the bad and the good memories that are happening in your life or around you. And when one takes the step, I need to work on my pain, I need to heal. This person have healed when they remember without getting angry. That's forgiveness. Forgiveness is remembering without getting angry, or remembering without getting hurt the way you used to hurt when whatever happened. That's forgiveness. And that is one thing that they have displayed in the interview. Yes, at like in different instances, Les was very emotional, and he expressed the pain that he was feeling, but because he knew what he wanted to work this thing out, he had to forgive D, and D and she admitted what she was hurting at some point, because she felt like the whole breakup happened at the most crucial time of her life, where she needed her baby daddy the most. But then, because life happened, they had to heal as two different individuals. They had to heal as two different individuals and forgive each other. Because once you have a baby with somebody, that person is tied to you forever and ever, because you now have the responsibility of raising the person that the two of you have brought to this earth. And that's one of the things that I've learned: healing and forgiveness. And number 2, I love how raw, unfiltered, and authentic their interview or their conversation was. It was not filtered at all. And when you are trying to communicate something, but then you need to filter out a number of stuff, you might end up filtering out the most important things that needs to drive home, that needs to get home. And their interview, their conversation was very raw, was very real, was very authentic, was very natural. That's one of the things that I loved in this interview. And number 3, I loved the art of communication that was displayed in their interview. The art of communication that I'm talking about, the way they said, like the way they were conversing, they displayed informative, constructive, comprehensive communication. Informative, constructive, comprehensive communication. Go to Hannah, we are talking about, you have an issue that you want to address. How informative is it? Bolingwa, the value of what you want to communicate. How are you going to say it? The constructive part. This whole narrative are saying, in most cases, it's not what you are saying. It's not about what you're saying. It's about how you say it. The constructive part of it. And then the comprehensive part of it. Whatever that you're saying it because you want the other person to understand your point of view. You want the other person to understand your perspective or what you are trying to say. And then again, that drives us to the point there. In communication, there's another art of listening to understand, not listening to respond. That was one of the things that I noticed from them, because it takes a good listener to get to understand, process, and then come to take an executive decision. Okay, the conclusion from how I heard you, from how I understand you. That is one of the things that I loved about the whole conversation that they were having. And number 4, being open to correction. Both of them they displayed that they were open to corrective criticism. Even I like how something that Dee said. She said, please teach me things about myself that I may have not seen. This is somebody who acknowledges the fact that somebody from a distance might have a better view of what is happening about yourself than Wayne. So if you want to really work on yourself or improve yourself, then you have to be open to this. And lastly, he mentioned he's somebody who believes in self-correction. Self-correction I associate with the idea you can't fix what you don't know. You can't solve what you do not know of. You have to be aware of the problem first, and then solve it. Find a way to solve it. Acknowledge that there's something wrong, and then after you acknowledge that there's something wrong, the question is, what's the next step? What are you going to do about it? There comes the problem solving part. And self-correction is something that is very important in self-development, because for somebody who wants to correct themselves, it comes with another point number 5. self-awareness. Self-awareness is tied, or it's needed to self-introspection. It's needed to self-introspection because when you when you do your regular checks, I think I need to bear with me on that one. Okay. When you do your regular self-checks, I call them my self-continuous assessment. When you do those introspections, that's when you're going to be able to identify the loopholes in how you've been doing things and what need to be corrected, and that drives you that drives you to the point of being aware of yourself, your environment, how you respond, how you do things, how everything happens around you. And self-awareness, it's needed again to point number 6, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, as one of the things that was displayed perfectly, beautifully by both Les and D, because good one thing about emotional intelligence as a domain which has different subdomains or subsets, and these subdomains, we're talking of self-awareness, we are talking of emotional management, we are talking of self-control, we are talking of social awareness, and that is something that they displayed. Because as much as painful as their past was, and getting to agree to sit before the camera and talk about this, at some point that could that could have awakened or triggered one of them, especially it may have awakened triggers or an act of removing an old skin of a healing wound. What you are trying to heal, but then you're being taken back to that open wound that is very fresh. But it takes an emotionally intelligent person to know how, okay, now that I'm here and I have the main aim of getting to conclusion, and the main aim is for us to have to be better parents to our kids. Because I believe in this. I believe mothers, somebody who's hurting will bleed on people who do not cut them. So it takes 2 parents to heal so that they do not bleed on their children. So that if 2 toxic parents do not work on themselves, they do not plant a toxic seed on their children. That is one of the most beautiful things that I wish a lot of parents out there by co-parenting can learn. So if your level of emotional intelligence is on that level, it becomes easier to deal with such things, and you have to be open to learning. Okay, right, this is what we see about you. This is how you react. This is how you manage your emotions. It may be bad because it doesn't look good on you or look good on the society or anybody, and in that way, that's when I know, okay, this may be true. There is some truth to this, and how do I work around it? And this this drives us to point number 7. Yes, point number 7: civilization. This was one of the most civilized or civil way of talking things, as 2 parents who used to be in love, and then life happened, and then decided to split. Yeah. It's not a lot of people by after splitting, they between them. There's still peace, there's still respect, there's still that kind of care. It takes a civilized person to know, to establish better ways of dealing with a problem in a way it's safe for everyone, like everyone included in that. In this case, is the father, the mother, and the daughter involved in this whole thing. But then if we are to map the way forward that is going to work for everyone here, it takes us coming to table, sitting down, talking things out, mapping our way forward. That's civilization. And those that they tell already more like the things that we see from our society. Parents split and then enough of foco and the kids get hurt in the process. It's not nice. It's not nice. That's a low level of civilization that is being displayed. And then number 8, I loved the fact that this one is linked to the point of civilization. These people broke the narrative, or they were breaking the odds. Black parents cannot cooperate in the most peaceful way. They broke that narrative because they are trying to show other black parents that it's actually possible to cooperate and raise healthy kids, mentally, physically, and kids by they still have a good relationship with both their parents even though they are not together. Black parents have been labeled this whole thing, and once they split, the kids would grow up without their fathers or their mothers because the other parent or is denying the other one to access the kids, or it's like she or he's talking bad about the other parent. And with time it has shown us they are breaking all that, because Dee mentioned she had a conversation with their daughter, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about with your father, and the father is able to talk to the mother about their daughter, and the partner to both of them, since they're separated, knows about the parent co-parent, of which is a beautiful thing, and they're doing this in the most peaceful way. And this drives us to the other point of point number 9. Is it? Yeah, it's point number 9. Respect. There's another level of respect that was displayed in this conversation, because it takes respect to talk and come to conclusion without hurting anyone, without triggering to lose interest in the conversation, and how they respected each other. It was beautiful. It was beautiful because Les displayed another level of respect to Dee. Dee displayed another level of respect to Les. And I loved it when Dee felt like the choice of words that Les used was offensive to her. She expressed herself, I take that as an insult. And Les did apologize, no, forgive me on that one, but this is what I meant to say. He corrected himself afterwards. And that's beautiful. Dineo has, she mentioned the level of respect that she's giving to Les' family, Les the respect he's given to Dee's family, and the respect they're given to both of their partners. Dee respected the fact that Les ona le motho, and she has to respect that, because I remember when she was mentioning something about money, Les o tshwanetse go bua le mma that's a partner wa Les. So this, she recognized what and I cannot expect him to take some financial executive decision just like that without consulting first. That's respect. And Lile Selene, he displayed another level of respect. That's beautiful. That's very beautiful, because they were not fighting, they were not insulting each other, they were just not attacking each other. Whenever any of them felt attacked, they immediately found a way to deal with that, to resolve that again, and the most civilized way. And then point number 10, the level of maturity that was displayed. The level of maturity that was displayed here, it's just beautiful. It takes two mature people to sit. Sorry about that. I had to attend to something. But then I was talking about the level of maturity that was displayed here. You know, these people have shown us that it takes two mature people to counter agreement that we need to sit down and talk about this. We need to sit down and talk about this, because somebody who's childish will tell you, no, I have nothing to talk to you about. Why do you think I have to talk to you about this? And all that. That's childish, because here we are talking about the future of the baby that you guys have made together. And their level of maturity was displayed through their respect. It was displayed through not being on defense mode. Yes, here and there they had to defend themselves, and they did not point fingers at anyone. And the last one was Blck-Lez have shown us that men do get hurt. Men do get hurt, and but they do get hurt. So as women, we have to be wise with the choice of words that we choose. So those are the 11 things that I've learned from this interview, and I wish a lot of us can learn a lot from this interview. If you haven't watched that interview, please go visit Ranaka's YouTube channel and go through that. Watch the interview from the beginning to the end, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, be nice, and do take care of yourself. Bye.